Gruesome Magazine.
Hello, once again, I'm Doc Rotten, and this is Gruesome Magazine, where we review the very latest in streaming and video on-demand horror movies. Each week, my co-hosts Jeff Mohr, Crystal Cleveland, Dave Dreher, and I will take a look at various spooky, scary, and gory genre offerings. Tonight, we're reviewing Isaac Ezban's Parallel. A little bit more on the sci-fi side, but it has horrific elements for certain. We're excited to talk about this one coming out this week. Oh my, with me tonight, of course, is the one and only Jeff Mohr. Jeff, how you doing, sir?
I'm great. I'm great.
Oh, no.
But, you know, things have been weird all day. I've been putting my pants on the wrong leg first. And
Oh my gosh.
they're just not folded right in the drawer. Things are weird.
Oh no, it's Alt Jeff. Alt Jeff! All right, also joining us tonight is Crystal Cleveland, the living dead girl. How you doing?
Good. I just keep looking at Jeff's clock and I'm like 7:39, but I know he's an hour behind us, so.
Oh, he's got it. Yeah, he has the clock up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just creepy.
I'm going to
Jeff.
have to hide that clock.
Now everybody watching is just going to be staring at that clock when you should be looking at the ghost down the hall.
Yeah, the eyeballs at the
This is like a demon down there growling. All right, tonight we are talking about Parallel, which is a sci-fi horror. Well, it's mostly sci-fi, but
It's totally a horror at the end.
It definitely,
it's a horror.
it definitely dives into.
Because I think sci-fi people will be like, that's too far.
Maybe. Well, we like Isaac Ezban's films here, similar as we did a few years back, and we like his work, so it would be interesting to see what we think of this film as well. What we're going to do tonight is give our first impressions, then we're going to talk about the film a little bit, and then wrap things up with our final thoughts, our score 1 to 5, and our favorite scene. And that's what you want to hear. You want to hear what our favorite scene is, and we have to do it without giving something away. This one's going to be tough.
Yeah. We'll say something, and then you'll have to make sure you go into detail about it.
You'll have to watch the film. You'll have to watch the film to find out. Yeah, I can go in detail. Just spoil it all. Give all the details. All right. What film are we talking about? We're talking about Parallel. It is from Vertical Entertainment, arriving December 11th, 2020, from director Isaac Ezban, writer Scott Blaszak, and the cast includes Georgia King, Martin Wallstrom, Mark O'Brien, Ameen, and Kathleen Quinlan. That's a name some of you might recall. Synopsis is: a group of friends stumble upon a mirror that serves as a portal to the multiverse, but soon discover that importing knowledge from the other side in order to better their lives brings increasingly dangerous consequences. Yes, and in those consequences lies the horror.
Oh, boy.
Sit up straight for that one. All right, let's find out what our first impressions were. And I'm going to have to turn this over to Jeff, because if there was ever a Jeff Mohr film, this is one. Jeff, what is your first impression of Parallel?
Well, so far, Isaac Ezban makes Jeff films.
He makes Jeff films.
the three that we know about. The Similars, I think, was on. I know it was on my top 10. I think a few years ago when it came out. Just bizarro thinking that you don't expect. And this one is I wish I'd listened when you read the synopsis. So I know if I was giving something away. So they set up these multiple dimensions or multiverse or whatever it is. And it really, to me, it reminds me a little bit of time travel, in that it always brings up concepts that you have to think about a little bit, right? You gotta put some effort in it. And this one's got a bunch of WTF moments, at least for me, where I'm like, oh, wait a minute, how could they be doing that same thing to that guy? And then the way that they're doing it, I love, especially with Kathleen Quinlan, when that one starts out, the opening scene of the film, I thought was great. And it was something that I could see somebody using that whole concept for. Although, if I thought about it, that I could go into these other multiverses, that isn't what I would be thinking about. Right? Anyway.
Well, if you lost your loved one, you might.
Yeah.
maybe, but just as somebody sitting here thinking about, oh, that would be so cool. You could do this, you could do that. That's not one of the things I would think of off the top of my head.
Like the shopping.
Yeah. So
the difference in the movies, the books. There's all these subtle differences.
Yeah. So four really, I thought. Do I want to say engaging? Four defined characters that all kind of made sense, and how they changed when this opportunity was brought to them, I thought was well explored, and where we go. Also, I love it when we have logical actions. Most of the people did what I thought would be the logical thing for them to do. So I think I'll stop and let you guys talk. But I acting was good. Good story. Loved it.
Really well done too. Yeah. Crystal Cleveland, you're up next. What is your first impression of Parallel?
I totally feel the same way Jeff did. I really like this movie. I think that it was fun. I think that it showed that I'm a piece of poop as a person.
A piece of poop? Oh no!
Yeah, because I was like, I mean, he's not doing anything wrong. It's not that bad. It's so bad. I'm such a bad person. Because I'm like, I mean, I get it. Totally. Like, I don't feel like, see, so it really does show your like moral turpitude here. Because obviously the killing is too far. Duh. But,
Is that?
I don't want to give anything away. Well, that's just kind of ambiguous anyway. But, and the shopping, I mean, of course, who wouldn't do that? But you are kind of messy. But I mean, I think taking bits and pieces from, oh God, I don't want it to say too much either. But I just think that it's a very interesting character study in a lot of ways. And I thought that the characters were insanely developed. And I loved the beginning too. I loved this whole story that started it all and helped explain it. And it was such a big deal without being a big deal. Yep. And then when you really start to think, you could really think about this movie later on, and you could think about different things and other parts of it and other ways. And yeah, I really found it pretty fascinating. I probably should have watched it again so that I could really probably discover some things that I didn't.
Oh yeah,
I bet you there's tons. Yeah. There's all kinds of stuff going on with this movie.
Yeah, I watched it twice, and I got a lot.
I bet.
Well, I kept thinking alternative things, of what was going on. So
and see exactly, and then I really liked the way it ended too.
Yes,
I thought that was fun.
Yeah. Well, I think the beginning could even be a movie in and of itself. I mean, it had so much.
Oh well, that part could have been sure. I mean, that would have been that would have been pretty freaky.
Definitely, yeah, definitely like a Twilight Zone episode or something, or Alfred Hitchcock.
But I liked the psychological impact it had on some of the characters. I think it was really interesting. I really enjoyed it. I found it a really nice watch. And like I said, I think it's very, very much sci-fi until it gets to the end. And then I think that it's hard to place it just as you can't just place it as sci-fi, because I think a lot of sci-fi people will be like, that scene was too much. It was too gory. It was too much for me. I mean, and that's, so because of that, I have to say it's definitely a horror. So for you horror movie lovers, I think you'll enjoy it, especially if you like sci-fi. You'll love it. But I think you'll know what I'm talking about when it happens. It's very obvious.
Definitely. Yeah, this is a sci-fi horror cocktail for sure. Mm-hmm. It has a lot of both in it. And because, I mean, even starts out with, I mean, it's in the first 5 minutes, but it starts out with a murder. So, but
I let me tell you this too. When I was watching it, I was like, I already knew.
Oh yeah.
The first time I watched it, I was like, oh. I was like, I swear, I turned and I said, I bet that's.
Yep.
And yeah.
And I think everybody watching will too. I mean, you're looking for it, so it's not. They're not trying to hide it or mask it, but they kind of do. And a little bit of a pun there. But it's great. So it starts there, and then we get introduced to our characters, our 4 characters who are 2 at a time, who are part of this team that are developing an app, and they're pushed under the gun, and they kind of think it's over. And they're rented or bought this house. I think they were just renting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they were talking about their security deposit. And because of events, they discover an attic that they didn't know about, that nobody knew about. And in that attic, of course, is this mirror that, and a lot of other things too. I won't divulge all the other things, but that gives them this ability.
That was actually really cool too.
There was another thing that's really cool.
I thought that was so. It was all very clever.
Yep. Yes. And of course, it allows them to go from parallel universes. So that that's not giving anything away. That's the setup. That's basically fleshing out just a little bit of what was in the synopsis. What's cool about it, and this is a small spoiler, is that the time between the two universes is not the same.
As Jeff pointed out last night. Yep.
Yes, when we were talking about it offline. And I love how they use that and to get their own gains. First, very innocently, in a way that most people wouldn't really bark at. And then, of course, that progresses as each one is tempted by this newfound ability. And that's where, Crystal, you're talking about that, the psychological study, each of these four people handle it quite differently. And it's fascinating. It's fascinating to watch. It's fascinating to see hints of everything, right? Because we really don't get like a full-fledged, here we are in another universe running around thing. We get like little bits and pieces that they bring back, and we get to see things. And there's like all kinds of, neat sci-fi gadgets and stuff, and choices they make that benefit them financially, in their careers, and otherwise. And then things start to go wrong. And that's when it gets darker and darker and darker until you get a really horrific, horror-filled finale.
So that's where, honestly, when that goes wrong, that's where I have an issue with some of it. Yeah, because that dude, look, I don't want to give too much. I'm trying not to give it away, but let's just be real. He got because he deserved it.
Well,
okay,
I
don't like how the one guy was like, oh my God, he brought it on himself. He was caught, and that's not. I'm sorry, I don't really have much sympathy there. That's where I'm like, that's where everything like sort of spiraled, and I'm like, why are you blaming this dude who had literally nothing to do? He seemed to place all that anger toward the lead guy, the lead male, and I thought that was completely misplaced. I thought it was strange. I thought it was weird.
I thought there was a history between them.
But even still, you're insane. I feel like his character seemed insane to blame him for something that dude brought on himself. I'm sorry.
Yep, he was thinking with the wrong head for certain.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I'm sorry. That's what happens when you play with fire. And you can talk to any homicide detective, and those are definitely that's risky behavior.
Yep. Yeah. Don't do it. Don't do it. But of course, you're tempted, and that's what this is. It's like it's like
Jeff's face. You know what we're talking about, right, Jeff?
No. Yeah. Nope.
Oh, you don't?
Oh no.
Oh.
The thing that starts off
that starts all the negativity, mainly, when someone goes into the mirror and diddles with his piddles. Mm-hmm.
Oh. Well.
Yeah.
I mean, as a guy, it would be tempting. But he should have done
that part I get.
He should have done his research a little more, though.
I get that. I get all that. I'm like, okay, I understand.
Well, I like how they kind of let you know, too. There was a slight change in the look, the cinematography, the filtering or something. When they were in another dimension, or somebody from another dimension, whatever, it was a little more saturated, and there was a little fuzz around the corners, maybe a soft focus or something.
No. Sometimes a slight bend, they would be skewed, which is great because they visually kind of cue you in on things. And so the exposition, this could have been an exposition heavy film.
Yes,
and
there's a lot.
There's a lot. Now it does have exposition, but I think it works wonderfully well in the structure of this.
They showed it. They didn't.
A lot of times, and that's what you need. That's what you need in this, especially with the mirror. When they're exploring the mirror and how it works, they at first they don't know what it is, and the things they do to kind of slowly figure it out.
Oh, it was so smart, right?
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, they're way smarter than me. Because if I had put my hand through and I'm like, seems legit.
Yeah, I like the phone bit and stuff, and of course, and then so we learn along with them, so that helps us follow the story and get into it. And the characters are really engaging, like you said, Jeff. Right? I think this is a great group of actors and characters.
Well, and they had been together, it sounded like, for quite a while.
Mm-hmm. And you felt it
to a certain extent, and we're working together on with a company. And it wasn't until this opportunities opened up that not everybody changed the same way. It didn't affect everybody the same way, right? And that's created some friction.
It's all about desire. That's really what it was about.
Desire and temptation.
What's your ultimate? What do you really want?
The mirror of
and
desire.
That's what they went for.
Yeah. Even the character that we're but even the character we're introduced at the beginning, it's the same story for her as well. And which I like the relationship between that character and the one character who's looking for his dad, Devin, and his dad.
That's very similar. It's so crazy though that how could his cell phone work in another dimension?
I don't know. But there's all kinds of things about.
I'm just saying.
This,
it's like that doesn't make sense.
Well, it was
because it's like surely it would be like one number off, and there's lots to that.
Well, I don't think they were calling. He was using it for
still
internet.
Looking at the internet, but so you think he was picking up some free Wi-Fi? He was getting some McDonald's Wi-Fi there.
McDonald's Wi-Fi.
That could be it. No, I'll buy that. I will accept. I will accept that.
It could have a different, because it could have a different. It might even have a different signal, so
because you can always get in. That's.
But you gotta let some things go just for the sake of moving a story.
I did. I don't care. I was.
Just... I love like the movie. Like what was it? Who starred in Frankenstein? The one movie they pulled out.
Oh my gosh! Yes, it was.
Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling.
Emma Stone and Frankenstein, which I thought was great. I was like, oh man, I actually want to see that. And he was like, they were getting copies so they could sell them.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Coming up with CDs from different groups that had never.
Oh yeah, where they had not made that. I think that was brilliant. Right. Yeah. Like he wanted so little. Like really, he didn't really want much. That dude. Like it's kind of sad.
The other guy, he wanted a lot more.
Yeah,
he was after the world. He was after the world, which the contrast and conflicts were all of what makes this movie work. Because they don't really go heavy into the special effects for time travel. It's not like you go to another world and things are flying around or flying cars and stuff like that. They don't do that kind of thing. Now they do have certain little contraptions that are a little more advanced, but it's just advanced, right? They're never really. It's
not a whole different world.
Yeah. So it doesn't stretch it. They don't go back in time or forward in time terribly much. I mean, you can because time works differently, so they can go in there. And I think a couple like a day or so there was 5 hours here or something like that. So
it was 180 to 1.
All right, that's right.
So that's why when they went over there for 30 days to do the 4 weeks they needed to complete the project. Was only 4 hours in their time.
Here's the thing. There would be so many realities that there would be plenty of realities where none of them existed. We have way too many people in the world. So we're completely diverging from any sort of real multiverse.
Yeah,
like I'm just saying that it's like, come on. So don't be expecting anything that's like super scientific here.
Okay. So I was thinking, I was thinking the same thing. How is it that the same 4 people are living in the apartment in every?
There would be someone else would have been switched out. Someone would have been,
and the same thing with the woman. I mean, if the woman that was living in there.
I have a theory about that.
Okay, what's your theory? And it's
But
wrong.
she couldn't. But that couldn't have been her in every universe, because in one universe
Exactly.
she was. Yeah.
There's no guarantee. If it's just random, it's got to be random.
It can't be. Well, it has to be random, but only for those that are similar enough, because she has to build the same device on the other side. Because the little thing was on the other side every time.
Oh,
and the secret passage was on the other side.
Do we know that this lady actually built it?
Well, they suggested she found it.
Okay.
When she was reading the diary, so somebody else.
Right.
So see, that changes things then. So it doesn't have to be that similar.
Yes. It just has to be only, because they actually, because in some other universes they might not even rented that house. They might have rented the house next door.
There's so many, and that's what I'm saying. There's so many. Like, it would suck actually to go to multiverse, because you probably wouldn't be able to find yourself and all that.
Yeah, as long as there's no talking pigs, it's okay.
Talking pigs.
What about flying pigs?
Flying pigs? No, talking pigs is a Spider-Man.
Oh my gosh!
Reference.
Spider Pig.
Yep. Spider Pig. Yep. A great multiverse movie, by the way.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Yeah. Jeff, let's end with you, because this is a Jeff Mohr film. And I think this is, people have been following us, have heard us say that a lot. And I think this is an excellent opportunity to use this film as an example of why we say there are Jeff Mohr films, as this is probably the Jeff Mohriest film of the Jeff Mohr films this year.
Really?
I think so.
I guess, depending upon what makes a Jeff Mohr film a Jeff Mohr film.
Well, what makes it that for me is, at least in terms of what Doc's talking about, is the WTF moments, and there's tons of them in here just because of the crazy concepts that they're using. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I went, "Wait, what? Oh." So, and then even after that, and I watched it a second time, Crystal, and the same thing. Now I knew where it was going. Mm-hmm. Even then, I saw different cues that I missed before.
See, that's what
that were sort of foreshadowing, but also it made me think of, now wait a minute, who, what? So, because there's things that happen in here that you don't know know for sure.
And one of the things is too, Doc, the ending would lead you to believe that mirror is kind of irrelevant anyway.
That was that's
outlier.
That was an outlier.
Yeah, that was something had changed. Yeah.
Oh! I just thought of why.
Well,
I'm not saying it.
Yeah, he'd probably give too much away.
Yeah, I mean, when there's a split decision in there somewhere that might have left some evidence somewhere. Maybe.
Yes.
All right.
We didn't give anything away. There's so much to this. Yeah.
You guys are going to love this movie. You're going to want to watch it. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to wrap things up with our final thoughts, our score, and our favorite scene. But before we do, please hit the subscribe button so you can find out about more of our stuff, and then of course help others find us as well. And then there's the like buttons, and there's also the bell. Smash that bell.
And our Patreon.
Yeah, a patron. And we want to hear about what you thought, so let us know. But the patron, I have a card for that. Yeah. We want to thank all our patrons. All the names there, I won't read them out, but if your name's on there, hit pause and go, yay.
That's me.
But we thank you so much to help us.
I was trying to read it.
Going. Were you trying to read it? I'll send you a copy. All right. All right. So now we're going to do this. We're going to dive into our final thoughts, our score, and favorite scene. We're going to go in the same order. So that means, Jeff, sir, you are up first.
Huh. Well, I think you got to check this out. I mean, it's just crazy enough. You got to check it out.
Yeah, it's good.
Master of suspense.
4.25.
Oh, good.
Wow.
Good.
And I'm thinking final scene. Boy, I get to go first. This is just too, I'm going to take a piece
Uh-oh.
of what we might, not that piece, of what we're thinking of, but the sort of conflict upstairs with the mirror where, oh God, what was the Georgia King? Alyssa? No, what was her name? Lena. Lena goes on a mad dash.
Oh, yeah.
Slides across the floor.
Mirror and goes sliding in. And I had no idea. I mean, I was just like, what the hell is she trying to do? That had happened so much earlier. It didn't. I didn't connect as
You
she
forgot
was
about
doing
that? They alluded
until
to
it happened.
Yeah, because they said basically it has to be just like this, this.
So anyway, I'm just going to take her doing that. I'm not going to take the actual.
You're not going to take the 13 ghosts action
No.
there?
Ah, nice.
No.
Nice. Yeah, it's going to be one of those 13 that it's still not going to work. All right. Yes. Interesting. I like that. All right, Crystal, you're up next. What's your final thoughts, your score, and favorite scene?
So I totally think you should watch it too. I think it's good for sci-fi lovers. I think horror movie lovers will really enjoy this too. It's correct. Impeccable acting. It's a great story. It's told really well. It flows. It's got some good-looking people. Like, I think everyone is good-looking in this, and they all do a great job. So I'm going to give it a 4.
Nice.
Yep. And my okay, obviously the scene that Jeff talked about, the afterward. I mean, that was like amazing. I love that. That's like, but I'm going to go with the Godfather blow up.
Oh my God, that was so fun.
So, no, he doesn't do that. I think that was cute. I think it just gave such life to the characters.
Yeah, you could see them doing that too.
Yeah.
Because they were, yeah, that was great. I love
There we
it.
go.
Oh, good delight.
I was getting out of focus, so I'm like,
You were. That other dimension thing. All right. So this is like not a doc film. No, I mean it isn't. It's usually not the films I would gravitate toward. It doesn't mean I don't like them or wouldn't watch them. But I would say more supernatural and stuff are what I'm for. But however, I really enjoyed this movie. This movie had everything right about it. It feels very sci-fi. Oh, Jeff just bonked. It feels very sci-fi early on.
yes.
And feels very so some horror fans will be going like, what are these guys talking about? This is not a horror film at all, and it doesn't feel like
explained until
Right.
yeah.
But when it does make it into the into that realm, you guys are going to love it. There's a lot to love about this film as a horror fan, and if you love sci-fi films, even more so. The actors are great. The direction is fantastic. This guy is Isaac Ezban is so talented. And
Who wrote it? Did he write it?
He did not write it.
Okay.
He did not write it. It was written by Scott Blaszak or Blaszak.
Okay.
Blaszak. Very talented, very well written script. And I'm looking forward to big things from Isaac Ezban in the future. I have a feeling he's going to give us something incredible in the near future. And I like it. I like it 4 for me as well.
Yay!
Yeah.
Good.
Solid 4.
Wow, you've had a good week this week.
It was a good week this week. I needed a good week. It was a rough November. We'll see what next week brings.
It was a good week for all of us, I think.
Yeah. I think I was all full and happy from Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's what it was? Oh,
Yeah. Sure.
Totally.
You're taking drugs, right?
We're live. Don't give it away. All right. Throwing me totally off balance. My favorite scene.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Favorite scene. Gosh, what do I want to go with? There's so much. I'm going to say when they first find the mirror and they're exploring it, and they're so delicate at first, and I just loved how they're like, sticking their hand in slowly, and then they take their phone and film so they can look at it and see it, and they basically figure it out, and then the one guy just says, And he runs through and dives in. And then that's when you find out about, you already gone like 5 seconds. And so it's a lot of I just love the momentum. I love the story, and I loved how it was structured. And if I didn't pick that, I could pick the coda at the end, which was really interesting as well, and sets up like, what happened there? And yeah, and of course the beginning is good too, with Kathleen Quinlan as the lady with the plan. And I love how they fleshed out that story throughout the main story. We find out what that was all about, with her diary. So good stuff. Good stuff. This is a great movie.
I'm thinking too hard about it now because I'm like, ooh, this could go so many ways too.
Oh, yeah. If they have parallel 2.
If they decided to, yeah.
Don't parallel 2. Don't cross the streams. All right, well, there you go. That's our review of Parallel. It is out December 11th. Look for it. If you are a sci-fi fan with a little bit of horror mixed in for some spice, you're going to love this film, I think. All right. Crystal, Jeff, thank you so much for joining me. I had a great time. Thank you.
So did we.
Look at
me. I always speak for us. So did we. Thanks for having us.
We did.
All right, let's say goodnight.
Good night.
All right. And be careful out there.
Oh, yeah.